Listen, you have to be aware of the fact that we both hate you, right? Because we've been making it very hard on you forever now with how much we ignore and use you. Either you still haven't noticed or you must be very mentally strong then, huh? Being able to last this long with us living in the same house tormenting you all the time. Have you not noticed that the both of us have been using you this whole time and will not stop until you drop dead?
You say that the both of you have hated me. Yet I feel that our son can't be blamed for that hate, right? He's just been following in your footsteps this whole time since you've been hating me for a very long time now. You are the one that started everything, and that's why I've been having to put up with so much for the past 18 years. I don't understand, though, why you're only starting to ask me about it now. What do you plan to achieve with this?
Hey, do you really believe something like that? The inside of your head is just filled with flowers, like I'd always assumed. I didn't think you'd lost your sanity as much as you have.
My head is filled with flowers? I have been very much aware of everything for a long time now, and have put a lot of thought into the both of you. That's why I've been wanting to talk to you about some of it for a while now. But anytime I'd ask to have a chat about how you guys treat me, both of you would ignore me. Actually, you'd both ignore me all the time, no matter what it was I said. Yet when it came to things like me not cooking something well enough, you'd explode. Things have really been hell for me here.
Of course things have been. We're the ones allowing you to live with us here after all. And when it comes to your job as my wife, as his mother, you have to be perfect or else. Or else we will seriously begin to rethink your worth in this family. Although with how much you've aged, both mentally and physically, you're really just getting in the way now, you old hag.
You never told me things like that in the past. Why have you started to call me an old hag now? Is this the reason why our son hasn't grown out of his rebellious phase at all yet?
Are you really saying something like that to me now? The guy has already graduated from college and is working now. Do you realize that him still being in a rebellious phase at his age makes no sense at all? He's past being in that phase a long time ago, woman.
I know that, Connor. That's why I find it very strange that he's still acting like a child. Sure, it's not rare for sons to not want to listen to everything their mom has to say to them, but he's never really been the one to get upset with me when I don't cook something perfectly for him. And instead of getting out of the house to cause trouble, he's been staying home to play video games while I did the chores. He's always been a really good kid, just with a bit of a childish side to him caused by someone else.
You only think of him that way so you don't get harmed mentally. But haven't you heard some of the things he's been saying to you along with me? You really have been such an eyesore to us, working like a slave that has never had a clue.
Calling me an eyesore and a slave now? I know. I've been used and abused as your wife for many years now. But has that been the way you've always looked at me?
I knew you never had a clue about anything. I always thought you were pretty dull and all, but but I never thought that you were so dull, that you would make it this far without ever realizing that you've been getting used like a slave.
I just assumed that as long as I did my job correctly and continued to, there would never be any serious problems between us. I felt that by not fighting back against you, things would remain calm.
Yeah, you would do a lot of the chores without any flaws and would never accept any money from me, working part-time to make your own, but you never saw yourself as our slave before? And that doesn't even include the fact that you were also being made to give up some of your money to us.
Well, I guess you were forcing me to have to give up some of that money to the both of you. But I just assumed that I should since I was your wife, and that all the money we earned was meant for the whole family to use.
Wow, I really did a good job choosing you to become my slave then. And maybe being a slave to us was what you were really meant to do, right? That's your duty in this household.
I don't think
But that life you've had as our hated slave is well over with now. Get to work unpacking all your things, please.
What? What did you just say? What did you mean by saying that to me? Hey, Connor! What is this all about, Connor? All of these suitcases in the trash bin outside. These are all... they're filled with all my things.
Oh, so you finally come around to finding all of that. I hope you had a good day at work today. Did you really think you could come back home to this house today, though? Well, that's not the case for you anymore now. Think of that as us saying that you are no longer a part of this household anymore. And as for that divorce paperwork I had you fill out and sign, I went and handed it into the courthouse today. That marks the end of my relationship to you now, which means that you and I are no longer married.
So this all really is my stuff in here? That old-fashioned mirror that I got from my grandmother long ago is also smashed to pieces. You threw that in here knowing very well it would break my heart seeing it broken, right?
Well, of course I knew it would break your heart. Until now, you had done a really good job working as my slave. I still can't believe you made it a whole 18 years living with the both of us while being hated. But I've put an end to the pathetic life of a man and his son having to live in a house where an ugly old hag was living with them every day. I had enough of you always standing around acting like you were a part of us, so I made sure to toss everything of yours. Get the hell out of town now.
All right, I'm leaving then.
I want you gone by the end of today.
Seriously, I never thought that you'd be so ruthless that you'd take things this far with me, though. This really is the end of you and I.
I've been making that pretty obvious this whole time, right? All you are is an old hag that has done nothing but work your butt off in our house while only barely being able to make enough money for yourself. I'm not sure how you'll be able to survive out there on your own, though. But you have nothing to do with me now, so I could care less if you ended up dropping dead tomorrow. Our son was also able to find himself a proper job today. That means that his and my life are now completely in the clear from here on out. We have zero use for you now.
I see. So that's why you kept me around, you guys, until today? Just needed to use me until you could be totally sure that he found a good job and wouldn't need my money anymore.
That's absolutely right. But now you and us will be nothing but strangers to one another. I don't want you to ever come around either one of us again after today. You're losing both your family and your house now, so I'm sure you'll go rot under some bridge now in despair. But since we have nothing to do with you anymore, you can't come begging for our help.
Understood, Connor. I have no plans of ever coming back to beg for help from either one of you. Therefore, this is goodbye forever.
Hey! You have to know something about this, right? My whole entire house, it's been completely bulldozed over. There's not a single piece of it left standing. I just got home from work and the whole place is just rubble.
Who is this?
This is not the time to be screwing around with me, you old hag. I'm your ex-husband, Connor, damn it. And right now, my freaking house is gone. Did you use someone to get back at me for what happened yesterday, and that's why the house is no more? Or could I have missed something? I have no idea what's happened here or why it happened.
Aren't you and I supposed to be complete strangers to one another now? You seem to be in a lot of trouble now, and it's gotten you all wound up, To the point that you had to start texting a complete stranger about everything because you had no idea what you were doing with your hands. Compared to what you said to me yesterday, what you're doing today is the complete opposite, no?
This is not the time for you to be so carefree. My whole freaking house just got demolished before I got home. This has to be your fault, right?
Blaming me already? Even though you know nothing at all, it seems? How rude. Well, what's happened there was all a part of my plan indeed.
What? What do you mean by that?
You started to live in that house about 20 years ago, right? Which means that you've probably forgotten all about what happened back then that allowed you to live in such a place. That house belonged to me and was under my name the whole 20 years that you'd been living in it. And it was you that started to live in it without asking me for permission, yet I had no choice but to let you be. Do you not remember a single thing about what all went down back then, Connor?
Is that right? Well, even if that really was the case... Wait, so this was really your house?
Did you think that we had been renting that place the whole time? And had we, did you just think that I was the one paying all of the rent every month because you didn't have to?
Actually, I did kind of think you were paying the rent for it.
You really are the most pathetic man imaginable, Connor. But I always knew you were the worst man out there and that you just assumed the house was never mine.
What? Then does that mean you went and destroyed the house without telling me first?
I never had to tell you anything, did I? The house was my house, and that land is my land. And when it comes to my house and land, I had every right to do whatever I pleased with it, without needing to ask you for permission first. Of course, I was never going to just let you stay in my house after going and kicking me out of it without talking to me first. I originally was going to have that whole debate with you about how you needed to leave, but I assumed that would be too much trouble considering the pain in the butt you are. So the easier thing for me to do was to have it demolished by some bulldozers.
I'm not screwing around right now, woman. There's no way someone could just do that to a family's house and not feel any remorse. Have you gone completely mad now?
You think that it's me who's gone mad? I believe you meant to say that you've gone mad and needed someone to help wake you up from your wild hallucination. You were going around handing in our divorce papers without asking me about it and throwing all of my things into the trash without asking me. And way back in the day, you just came into my house and started living in it like you had the right to do so without my permission. All of that has been your wild hallucination, and you needed me to get you out of it. Did you think this all started because of me, Connor? Of course it didn't. It all started with you and that mad head you have on you.
I'm not playing around. What would have happened if my son and I were in the house still today when you had the bulldozers come? Would you just let the bulldozers go and run over a family in their home?
I knew that you guys weren't going to be home today, and that's why I went through with it. So stop your worrying. Already had the knowledge of where you'd both be covered before going ahead with my plans. I mean, I didn't want to murder two people in broad daylight today.
Huh? What do you mean by that?
I mean just what I said. I knew that you both would be going out with one other person today to that really fancy restaurant, and that's why I was able to make my move.
How did you know there were 3 of us today, though? Why do you, of all people, know about that?
You're asking me why? Because I made sure to have the investigation finished up a long time ago, Connor.
Investigation?
Last month you told me it would be best if I started to get all my things together, right? You also were trying very hard to rub it in my face that you not only hated me, but were using me as a slave and things like that. When that happened, I knew something more serious was going on behind the scenes with you. So I went and had a look at what it could be.
Excuse me? I want to know what you did, though, to find all of this out.
For the past 20 years, I've always been so busy taking care of things for you, your son, and myself. So busy, in fact, that I never had any time to think about you or notice what all was going on around me besides what I was forced to do. But when you brought those things up to me in such a way that was meant to drive a stake through my heart, I finally had my eyes opened. You were trying with all your might to get me to leave you so that you wouldn't have to struggle with me anymore. In other words, based off that motive you had, I knew there was another woman in your life.
Huh? Wait, I have no idea what you mean by that. What are you talking about?
Freaking out now and trying to hide the truth won't work. I told you that the whole investigation has been concluded on you, so it's not worth it. And today, you were a very busy man having to show our son to your girlfriend. That's why you got a reservation at that really fancy restaurant and had him and her meet there. Of course, you were also there to celebrate your divorce from me, right? Which is why the three of you had a blast there, eating and talking about how horrible of a woman I'd been.
There's no way that's what happened. I would never.
I have all the evidence I need in both video and photo form. So I'm not kidding when I say it really is a huge waste of your time coming up with those lame excuses for why you were with her today. I even have audio evidence that I had recorded. You can't run from me now.
Why would you? Did you follow us out to that restaurant or something today?
Are you kidding me? I could never do something as shameful as that. I made sure to have a pro go out and do that for me and get all the evidence I would need in order to obtain victory later on. That's why I even have evidence of the plans you had with her to go out and stay at those hotels on dates with one another.
You hired someone to stalk us? When did you do that? Was it really because of all that useless crap I said to you before that made you realize?
Yes, that's what I was saying to you just a minute or two ago. And that is why I'll now be able to take out a large chunk of your money as a settlement. Make sure to have me my lovely present ready when this divorce goes through, all right?
A settlement? Wait a sec, I just lost my damn house today!
You mean you lost my house today, right? And so what that you did? To me, none of your problems that have started to form today have anything to do with my life. Also, it was you that said this first, right? You will both lose your family and your home and will have to go live under a bridge somewhere in despair. And then you followed that up by saying that you guys would both be complete strangers to me, so I couldn't come back begging for help, right? Right?
That was...
I'm going to say the same thing back to you now, after having said that with such confidence to me. You and I are both complete strangers to one another now, so don't come back to me begging for any help.
No way! Why did I have to run my mouth like that?
I really was busy with all sorts of things back when I was married to you. But don't think that meant I never noticed how you both treated me like a complete outcast there. Of course I knew. But no matter how often I tried talking with you both, you never gave me a chance to. I tried time and time again to ask why you would do that to me, but after so many attempts, I just gave up on it entirely. You both thought you had finally gotten to me and were able to use me to do all the chores and such without ever saying a word. But really, I started to focus on something else entirely that got me to the point I'm at now.
What the hell? You're making it sound like you became enlightened or something back then, and now you're rubbing that in my face, even though you had to work your ass off making money that would go to the two of us.
Yes, that's right. The start was especially hard for me. I had to work on getting back into the groove of working after having thrown my career away to have our son. And while also having to clean for you both, cook for you both, do all sorts of menial tasks for you both. But while I was going through all that pain and heartache, you were just sitting there not having to sacrifice anything because you knew you had me as your slave. I had to sacrifice a whole lot for our son and for the both of you afterwards. And as time went on, our son grew older and my workload increased even further. You'd spend more time out of the house drinking and playing around. Then whenever you'd come home, you'd roll your eyes at all the hard work I was doing while having our son join in with you as you talked crap about me.
That was all. You're a woman, so I had no other option. As a woman, you have to make your own money, and some of that has to go to us men.
We were both having to work jobs, yet most of my money would go to you guys while I would have to do every single chore in that house. Are you just saying that all happened because you're still living in the early 20th century mentally?
What did you say?
I never really had the time to spend talking with someone who wasn't worth talking to begin with, Connor. That's why I went and sent some bulldozers over to tear down my house filled with horrors. Had I actually tried to reason with you, I would have only been creating more stress for myself. And we would have never been able to come to any sort of an agreement, so... When you went and threw out all my things like that, you went and got on my last nerve. Right after you finished talking to me about that, I went and had the land sold and the house planned for demolishing.
You thought that having such pride in a plan like that was a good thing?
Well, it worked out for me in the end, right? Look at your reality now, Connor. You just lost the place you'd been living in and will now fall into a life of deep despair, right? But there's still a chance that won't happen, right? I mean, you still have your career, and you have a new family member now. I'm going to get that settlement from you, though, so you'll be losing a lot of your money that you'd been saving up. But you'll still have your career, unlike me, and a family, unlike me. So you're doing just fine compared to where I'm at right now.
My girlfriend was really looking forward to coming and living in a massive house like this, yet you went and tore it all down without my permission.
And you think your sucky situation has anything to do with me right now? If you're so worried about what she's going to think when she finds out, then why not buy your own house for her to have? I don't even understand why you think I should be feeling bad for you, when you were the one that took everything away from me.
You're a bitch, Leah. Doing something so utterly selfish as this. You really are such an unnecessary old hag. From the bottom of my heart, I know I was right for divorcing you.
And I feel the exact same way, which is just wonderful for the both of us then, right? I'm so happy I got a divorce from such a selfish man like you. Now good luck with whatever you decide to do next. After what you've done for me, I am so grateful. Not only did you help me with things like having the land under my house sold, but you got a team together to come and tear down my house today for me. You had to go through a lot of trouble in order to do such a thing for me, which I'm sure was not easy for you to accept at all. Next time, I'll make sure to treat you to whatever you'd like as my way of saying thank you.
No. A lot of this was possible thanks to all the hard work you put in, Leah. Good work today. There was a lot that had to happen for this all to work out for you, which I'm sure put your mind through large amounts of stress. You've already paid us very kindly for the work, and all of that was just a part of my job, which I was so happy to do for you.
But the fact that you were willing to do so much for me in such little time requires my deepest appreciation. I also have to thank you for introducing me to some of your best friends that helped make this possible for me. I'll have to tell Andrew thanks as well for showing you to me in the first place.
That is very true. He was the one that helped start this whole entire plan of yours by introducing the both of us. And I never thought that you'd be able to work with us so easily and have the means of buying from us like that. Whichever way one thinks about all of this, I am very thankful to have worked with you.
And I'm very thankful to have worked with you as well, Cameron. Thank you so very much for showing me this lovely new home. This is just the kind of place I was hoping for, so thank you.
I just never thought that things would come this far with you, Leah. I'm sure that now, having finished all of the plans we'd made, your ex-husband is in great shock, being handed back all that trouble he'd been giving you in one day.
Well, I'm sure he's never going to recover from it. He should have just appreciated all that I had put up with while around him. Then none of this would have ever had to go his way.
You're 100% right about that. I can't believe he even treated someone like you in such a terrible way. I mean, I have never even seen a woman as cool as you before. Having heard your story and everything you had to endure, I will be rooting for you for the rest of my life.
And thanks to your support, everything was able to work out perfectly in my favor. Through the help of keeping my husband unaware, I was able to move in the shadows, planning everything I needed to happen out. And sure, I may have lost many things along the way to here, but at least now I have freedom, and that's something I'd never want to live the rest of my life without. Of course, all of this led to me meeting you, Cameron, and that is something else I'd find far more valuable than what I lost.
Hearing you say such a beautiful thing makes me so happy. If you have any time in the near future, would you like to go out to dinner with me? Since everything we had worked on ended up going perfectly for you, I would like to take you out as a celebration for all your hard work.
Thank you so much, Cameron. And of course, I'd love to treat you to dinner as well, as a celebration for everything you contributed.
Please, Leah, come back to me, please. Things have only gotten worse for us now.
Who is this?
We do not have to play that game anymore, all right? It's me, all right? You still remember me, don't you? I'm your ex-husband, Connor. If nothing changes for me right now, then my family is gonna be completely ruined.
I see. Well, I don't care about any of that, so good day to you. By the way, the fact that you're once again trying to trouble me with your problems now, I'm blocking you.
Listen to me, please! My wife is really cute and super young, but she doesn't know how to do any of the housework here. She's also asking me all the time for money to get her skin treated and her hair done, even though she won't bother working herself. And when it comes to our son, he wasn't doing all of his required assignments at work and just got fired from that company last week. Now all he's doing is sitting in his room again playing video games and won't come out for anything besides food. I asked my wife to iron my suit one time and she destroyed it. And when she cooks, she puts way too much spice into everything. I'm starting to have troubles myself at work now because of what's been going on with my family at home. And if things do not get better, I'll be screwed for the rest of my life, too.
Good. Now you can finally see how important I was to the both of you, being able to do everything perfectly, right?
I can see that now, and that's why I need you to come back to me. Please, 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 you are important to me.
Before anything else happens here, how about you apologize to me? Actually, forget about that, because no amount of apologizing will ever get me to go back to you. I found myself a new man now, who is far better than you. And my new happy life has finally started to take off with him. Just hearing about how you're finally falling into the pits of hell has me feeling all warm and joyful again. Oh, this really is the best feeling ever. Now please, continue falling until you reach the bottom of those pits. And spend the rest of your life there, regretting all you've done. Due to my ex-husband's life turning to complete hell, he was no longer able to attend to all the responsibilities he had in the office and was transferred to an entry-level position there, making barely any money at all. And let's just say that's not all that would start to happen to him after I blocked his number. I then made sure to have my lawyer contact Connor and get that settlement I'd been telling him about, which I then used to pay off a large portion of my new house. Which has led to me really enjoying this new life I have now, along with my new man who, by the way, can actually cook and do some chores himself. Actually, Cameron is the man that I'm with now, and due to the fact that we've been doing so well together, I think I might just let him marry me. I'm sure he'll start bringing up talks about that really soon, but I can't let all of that get into my mind completely quite yet, as I only just got divorced. First, I need to make sure I have the life I want with him, and he's aware of my needs, before we get anywhere with something such as marriage. It is very interesting how for the past 20 years I'd been living through hell, while Connor got to enjoy having himself a slave at home who he could do whatever he wanted with. And now I'm the one that's living a wonderful life full of joy and freedom, while Connor gets to have a taste of hell. It feels fantastic that I was able to take him down so easily. And I hope he likes the taste of hell, because there really won't be any crawling back out of those deep pits. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story. Did your mom really never make it through high school? I really never thought that in this day and age there would still be people like that among us. This is honestly so awful. Now I'm going to have to think about this all the time when around her, and people might start to make fun of me for it. Why the hell would she do something like that in the first place? I wish my husband would have told me about something as embarrassing as that before marrying me.
Hi, Melanie. What are you going on about right now? We had told you all about why she never made it through high school, but it seems at the time you didn't care to listen to any of us. So that's on you for not understanding the reason for it.
Huh? So you're telling me that had I listened to that lame excuse, I wouldn't be saying anything right now? When I heard this from Drake, I was beyond shocked, let me tell you. I get wanting to hide something as huge as that, but come on! She should already know her place in this world now, and I don't want any part of it.
Hold on. We weren't even trying to hide that from you, though. And besides, you shouldn't be so judgmental of others based on their education anyway. The only thing you should ever be judging is the way one is living their life, and even then you should refrain from doing something like that. So would you leave this be now? My mom hasn't done anything to you besides be kind and generous.
What are you talking about? It's embarrassing that you're starting to go on now about how we shouldn't be judging one another off our education.
I'm not trying to say we shouldn't. I'm saying it's literally unfair to judge someone off of that alone. We shouldn't even be worried about how others live their lives at all, to be honest. Right now, my mom is living a very happy life, so shouldn't that be enough? I don't understand why you keep trying to make fun of her for having a happy life, just because she dropped out of high school.
Well, let me open your eyes a little to the truth. Right now, your mother is having to live off Social Security, right? That means she never had a good enough job to make any savings from, or even a 401k. And from what I've seen, she has so much time on her hands because she's not doing a single thing. She doesn't have the money to. And last time, when she came over to my house, she started asking for us to take care of her. She's causing problems for all my family now, and I will not have it.
What? She went over to your house? That's rare of her. My mom usually never goes over to other people's houses unless invited. And she's not the kind of person that would ask for others to care for her if she did go over.
You're her daughter, so of course you're not going to realize the true woman she is. In reality, your mom is so shameless and overbearing towards others, and the fact that she tries to act as though she's all that just pissed me off.
What? But really, my mom is not that kind of person. And if all of that were really true about her, you do realize that you're saying all of this to her daughter right now. Talking about her in such a horrible way right now doesn't make me feel too good.
Then start listening to me so that I don't have to talk about her that poorly anymore. So far, she's been causing so much trouble for your older brother and I.
I'll go have a talk with her about this then.
How can she think she's so above everyone else when she rides around on a scooter half the time to get around town? That really pissed me off, so I went and took it away from her.
What? What are you talking about?
Isn't it pretty dangerous for older people to be riding on things like bikes and scooters in the first place? I'm sure you never noticed how unbalanced she is on that electric scooter like I had. So I've made sure she can't ride on that dangerous scooter anymore. And another thing, an old hag like her isn't even good enough to be riding on such a high-end scooter anyway.
Hold on a sec. That scooter is something that my mom got into recently. She found it really relaxing to ride that over something like a bike or driving a car. And considering she's so close to so many things, there's no reason for her to use a car. She also happens to enjoy riding that scooter around in general, and that's probably why she looks like she's off balance or something at times. She's told you about how much she loves that scooter before, right?
Did she? And? You really think I gave a crap about how she felt when she's not even my mom? I am far younger than her, and I have a lot going on in my life that I need to get to. I think she'd be far more happy letting me take the scooter and riding it for her.
In other words, you just want it for yourself, right? How about you act like a responsible adult and go out and buy yourself one of those scooters if you want one so badly? Why would you even think that taking my mom's scooter is the best choice?
Because it's a pain in my butt to have to go out and buy my own. Hers is so easy for me to take, and it's still at my house right now. Since she's left it here, it's mine now, right?
I have no idea how that makes any sense to you. Haven't you always been the one bragging to me about all the money you have? Why would you find it all right to steal someone else's things when you can just go buy them yourself?
You have no respect for others' feelings, do you? I bet you're jealous and upset over the fact that I'm an elite, right? Considering all you are is some helpless comic book creator. And soon you'll be in your 30s, right? How much longer do you plan to chase after that stupid dream of yours?
Please don't start to make things about me right now. There's no need to be worried about me anyway. I'm doing well enough for myself, and that's all that matters. So let's get back to the topic at hand here. Please?
You just let me make fun of you like that and you're not going to fight back? How boring. Instead, you just went and dodged my slight at you, huh? What's the matter? Are you not even strong enough to defend yourself anymore?
Talking with you like this is really starting to wear me out. The fact that you can't even continue to talk about the topic of debate for more than a few minutes might be because you, yourself, don't have much of an education.
What? Excuse me, but what was that? Are you only now going to try fighting back? You're a bit too late to be throwing any punches now, so I'd stop if I were you. After all, the gap between you and I has been made already, and if you were to actually try swinging at me all the way up here, you'd fall right in.
The gap between you and I. None of what we've been talking about has been aimed at comparing you and I, so how did you get there? Are we jumping to yet another one of your off-topic topics?
You're nothing but a single comic book creator that has gotten nowhere with that. Whereas I'm married to your older brother and am his housewife and have a pet dog, making every day of my life wonderful and relaxing. There. Tell me which one of us is winning right now. It's pretty dang clear to everyone who is.
Ugh. Yep, all right. To your eyes, you are the one on top here. Go ahead and keep on bragging about your life then.
I'm going to be living the celeb life forever now. Drake went and proposed to me the next time he has to travel overseas. He's taking me with him, and it'll be a little treat for me. He may be busy with work every day of his life, but he still finds time to treat me right. Having this wonderful husband granted to me has really made my life like that of a goddess.
I'm not sure how I convinced you of anything else. But as my brother, is he really working that much? I'm not convinced myself that he's putting in all that time.
Your older brother is amazing. He opened his own business and is bringing in loads of money for the two of us. If he wasn't able to do all of that, then I wouldn't be able to live my life this way, right? You can tell just by the house we're living in that he's putting in the hours.
Hold on. There's something really fishy going on with him. Ever since I can remember, Drake has hated things like studying with a passion. And anytime my parents weren't looking, he'd run off and go mess around somewhere. So I'm not too sure he's pulled himself together as much as you're saying he has.
I don't think you can just speculate about how your brother is living right now. Unless this is just how you get when you're that jealous of us. You couldn't know about how your brother is doing anyway, considering you never talk to him at all, right? You both have always been at odds with one another, so it must hurt you to know he's living large now.
Has my brother been trying to make it seem as though the reason we're so distant is because of me? I'm sure he's also been the one making you think I'm not doing well as a comic book creator either, right?
That's right. He's told me all kinds of hilarious and embarrassing things about you. You both may be siblings, but neither of you turned out quite like the other. One is a successful business owner, while the other is barely making enough money to stay afloat each month. Let me just make this clear now, but if you ever are in need of help, don't come begging us for any. You figure your miserable life out on your own, all right? We're not here to be your caretakers.
I never planned on asking either of you for help, so don't worry. Now I'm going to go let my mom know that it's best not to go back over to your guys' house ever again. Goodbye now.
Make sure she understands that, all right?
Sure, I'll make sure she's aware of everything. Mom, did you go over to Drake's house recently? What happened? Did something happen to make you go over there?
Did you hear about this from him? Why are you texting me now, Alina? Oh, that's pretty rare of you.
Actually, I heard about you having been over to their house from Melanie. Why did you go over there?
Listen, Alina, I was wanting to have a word with your brother. I'd been trying to call him, but he wouldn't pick up, so I was wondering how to get a hold of him. That's when I decided it'd be best to just head over to his place and speak to him in person.
I see. I'm not sure why he didn't pick up your calls, but he's always been that way with us, right? Same with Melanie, for that fact. They both seem to think they aren't part of this family, and that's probably why Drake has never bothered to talk to you.
Yeah, that's what it feels like to me. But the thing is, he's my son and that's my daughter-in-law. They can't just keep trying to avoid me forever, you know. But it seems that Drake didn't want to listen to what I had to talk about, even when I did go over there to see him in person.
Wait, What do you mean? What happened when you got there? Did they start to say terrible things to you then?
No, actually, we didn't really say much to one another at all there. I had originally wanted to go there and talk with him, and that's why I sent him a text letting him know that first. But I don't think Drake wants anything to do with me. And that's why he never picked up any calls from me or texted me back. Since he wasn't going to respond to me, I thought I'd at least take the chance, and that's why I went.
We both know those two were bad news.
What we did talk about at his house was very short, like I had said. When I arrived there, he answered the door, so we began to talk a little. That's when his wife came back from walking their dog. When she saw that we both had started to talk, she yelled at me to leave her property at once.
What? She started to yell at you? What was her reasoning for that?
She was upset that I was talking with my son while she wasn't around. She then went off about how I shouldn't be coming to their house, even if I have so much time on my hands.
But they were both aware that you were wanting to come over and talk, so why would she get so upset by you simply coming over to talk?
I wonder that too. I wanted to finish up what I had to say to Drake, but she continued to annoy me, and that got me angry. So I ended up leaving before I could finish up.
That's what sent you home? Mom, you've always been able to handle a lot of stress and crap from others. She had to have said some other things to you that made you angry, right?
Well, about that.
Please don't hide it from me. This has to do with our family, so please let me know what else she said.
Well, what else that woman said to me? It has to do with you. She told me that if my daughter is a failed comic book creator, then that means I'm a failure myself. She started to talk even more crap about you than she did about me.
Wait, she was getting upset about me? Wow, that woman. She really does have the worst personality. Mom, you don't have to be worried about all of that. You know very well that I'm not what Melanie thinks I am, and that's why I've learned to just ignore her.
I understand that, but having to listen to my own daughter-in-law talk trash about my very important daughter is just heartbreaking. Of course that was going to get me upset.
Well, I'm sure as a mom that would make you pissed off.
The thing is, you are doing so well on your own, making money that most could only imagine of bringing in. And the fact that you're doing all of that, and only in your late 20s, is fantastic to me. It's admirable. There is nothing about you someone else should be talking trash about.
I know. Thank you, Mom. Thank you for always having my back like that, Mom. Because you've always been there for me, pushing me along. I've been able to make this life that I have now.
You are outstanding, Alina. But when it comes to that woman, you're not doing anything about her, are you? I get that. But in my case, I can't just sit around letting her say things like that about you. I think part of this is my fault for letting both your brother and her get away with behaving like that for so long now.
I don't think that's true. By the way, Melanie went and stole your electric scooter, right? I love how she talks herself up so much only to have to take things from others to feel good.
Ugh, I knew it. I wasn't sure who had my scooter this whole time, so I didn't want to start aimlessly blaming people. But I knew my gut was right when it said she was the criminal.
Wait, you didn't know it was her?
I didn't. After all, she told me she had no clue where the scooter went. When I asked her about it, she never once said that she herself was the one that had it.
Wait, you went and asked her about it? So she would lie to you about it and then turn around and tell me the truth? I'm not really sure what she was meaning to do there, but by letting me know she did it, she should know I'd go talk to you about it, right? Either that or she doesn't seem to think that she did anything wrong. That'd be even worse. What an awful person.
I'm sure because I was the one asking about it at the time, she didn't want to say the truth. But had she done so, things would have gotten into a pretty heated argument. Maybe she just assumed that you wouldn't be able to do anything about it, and that's why she went and told you the truth?
That might be it, considering she's always calling me weak. She's really just having a ball messing with both you and I.
She sure is. We can't let this go on any longer, though, can we? I always knew there were things wrong with that woman's behavior, but she just keeps getting worse and worse. I'm not going to let this continue.
All right then, let's do something about her. Hey, where did you just run off to? Answer your phone right now. What the hell were you thinking pouring that hot coffee all over my mum and running?
I have to go home and take care of my dog, as well as a few other things. You all should be happy I stopped by for that little bit of time and showed my face, right? The thing is, though, I would have stayed around a little while longer had it not been for the old hag. What was she thinking, coming up to me like that and questioning me about her scooter? I'm not going to hang out on the 4th of July and listen to her go on about that stupid thing all day. That's why I'm leaving.
She was just asking about it. After all, I had asked her about her scooter and where it was. But at that time I talked with her, she said she didn't know where it went. How come she didn't know about you taking it?
I had already told her once before that I had nothing to do with that scooter. She started to talk to me about it, and I wasn't going to just sit there and listen, so I lied to get her off my back. But bringing that up again to me? How freaking annoying. Wouldn't you get a little upset over having to listen to the same story about that scooter again?
Well, the reason she confronted you again is because you were the one who stole it from her. And you shouldn't find it annoying when someone comes to try and talk to you about how bad you've been behaving.
To be honest, actually, the both of you are freaking annoying. A high school dropout mother and her little failure of a shut-in daughter. That makes for a seriously cringe mother-daughter relationship. I know the both of you would just love to have my husband and I take care of you two forever. But you both are never going to have that future.
Excuse me? What are you talking about?
Considering things are coming to a close between us, let me make this very clear. I do not want anything to do with your uneducated and moneyless mother. I plan to cut ties to her and you now, since you both think you can get close to us for our money. Goodbye.
Do you have any idea what you're saying? The inside of your head must be completely empty besides all that hot air.
Huh? What was that? Is the loser really going to try and take a jab at me now? You're making me laugh for real now.
And that idea that you have there has already made me piss a little laughing. I get that my mom never made it past high school, but that didn't stop her from getting into the realty world and owning a lot of properties. Nothing about her is moneyless, yet you seem to not know about that yet.
What? What are you talking about now? What do you mean by that?
I mean exactly what I said. I'm sure to you she seems to have a lot of time on her hands, and that completely makes sense. But in reality, behind the scenes, she's running her own business. She goes out every so often to work with her customers and will travel a lot in order to make more connections with other companies.
Huh? What are you talking about? If you're actually being serious right now, then that would mean she's more busy actually doing something than I thought. But I can tell that she's got nothing going on, so better luck lying to me next time.
You don't have to believe anything I say, but just know that it's not a lie. I'm sure if my mom was a little more open about what she'd been going on with both of you, then you'd be coming over to her place all the time to see her. But she's decided it's better to keep everything she's doing a secret. Well, not a secret, but she hasn't said anything to you both yet.
Are you kidding me?
Also, there's one thing I have to say. My brother's not some business owner like you've been thinking. All he is a gambling addict who loves to go to the casino.
Huh? What does that mean?
He tried his best to make it seem like he was making it in this world by telling my mom he wanted to have his own business. In order to get her to send him money each month, he lied, saying that he'd been working hard on making that business come true. My mom never told me anything about what was going on, so I had no clue for so long.
What? So you're telling me this whole time we've been living off her money?
That's what I'm saying. But that money won't be coming in anymore, as she's done handing anything to you two.
Huh? You're lying, right? Hold on. If she stops sending us money, then how are we both going to carry on?
Weren't you calling yourself one of those elites or something? How about you use your eliteness to get a job?
No, wait. That's,
Or could it be that you were just lying to yourself this whole time, trying to make yourself feel as though you could actually do something? Well, don't get too far ahead of yourself, considering you only worked for less than a year before quitting and marrying my brother. You have nothing to show for, Melanie. I promise you.
No way.
My mom was planning to take all of the property she owns still and splitting them fairly between her two kids. But after what happened today, Since you seem to think it's okay to pour boiling hot coffee on my mother, she's no longer going to deal with you both. Consider this the end of relations between both you and her. After today, she's cutting ties with you. There's nothing going to you both now.
No freaking way. Wait. I get it. I'll apologize to her. Had I known about all of those things, I would have never treated her so badly.
It's because you thought it was all right to treat her like that in the first place. She's cutting ties to you. And the last thing, would you both be able to leave that house you're living in right now for us?
What?
That house both you and Drake have been living in was given to you both by my mom. Well, not really given, rather she was letting you guys borrow it. I'm not sure what all my brother told you before about that house, but my mom is the one who owns the house and has the right to have you both removed from it.
Wait, please, I understand. I'm so sorry for all the things I've done to you both up until now, but please, wait a second. I can't take all of this at once, you know.
We never said you had to take any of it in and understand it. My mom is already getting ready to kick you both out, so just listen to what she says and you'll be just fine. Legally, that is. I'm sure personally your life is going to become very tough and you might not be fine. Well, good luck with that.
Please, go and tell your mom something to get her to stop. I don't want this. I don't want to have to work.
And the very last thing I forgot to mention, if you both come to us begging for help, it's not going to accomplish anything. We're not going to help you guys. Isn't that strange? You were just saying those exact same things to me a little while ago, right? Both you brain-dead losers need to go rot in hell with the shame you've brought upon yourselves. After that, Melanie began to freak out and came running and crying all the way back to the party. But her apologies that she gave me on her hands and knees meant nothing. Both my mom and myself did not listen to her begging and pleading. My mom went ahead and stopped all that financial support she was giving them. Along with that, she put the house they were living in on the market and then cut ties to both of them. Both Melanie and Drake tried so hard to stay in that house for as long as possible, but after multiple warnings from the realtor my mom had placed the house under, they called the police and made sure both the squatters were taken away. After that had happened, we didn't hear much else from the two, besides the police telling my mom and I over the phone that they both tried to say that the house was theirs and that my mom would prove it. But my mom never said the house was theirs and was only really allowing them to stay there out of kindness, which they both took for granted. So she told the police officer the house was not theirs and a part of her business. When this is all ended for my mom and I told her the whole story would make for a really good plot for my next comic and got writing and drawing. A little while later, the story went public, and before I knew it, I was being asked for some larger publishers to go and work with them. Of course, now that I'm on my own, out living my dreams and making good money, I'll never have to look back at helping my brother and Melanie with anything. And naturally, I don't care about how those two are doing anyways, because I'm already certain life is not great for either of them anymore. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you in the next story.
Hey Alice, just thought I should let you know that my sister is staying with us starting next week. So prepare something good for us to eat, okay?
Wait, what? What do you mean she's staying with us? Did I miss something? For how long is she going to be here with us?
She's going to be staying with us permanently, of course. Starting next week, she's going to be a member of this household.
She's going to live here permanently? You're kidding, right? What about our kids?
They're going to be staying with us as well, of course. Where else will they go?
You do remember that she has 5 kids, right? There's no way we could handle this increase in members.
That's all up to how much work and effort you're willing to put into the situation. You can finally raise children like you always wanted to. Aren't you happy? Don't you like kids?
I do like children. But to suddenly push 5 kids onto me without any preparation is impossible to do. I can't handle a sudden change like this.
Jeez, all you do is say that everything is impossible. Can't you try to do something for once in your life? You said that there's no way you're getting pregnant, and now you say you can't raise kids? So then what can you do, huh? Instead of complaining all the time, maybe you should do something useful.
That's easier said than done. What does your sister say about all this?
Of course she agreed to it. If anything, Alyssa said that if you're struggling with infertility, then she is more than happy to give you the experience of raising children.
What about Tate? Is he okay with all of this?
Yeah, he's okay with it too. Don't go calling or texting him about this though, got it? He and Alyssa are going through some things right now. Do you get what I'm saying?
Going through some things? Did something happen between them? Are the kids okay?
This issue is between Alyssa and her husband. This means that you have no need to know anything about this. Butt out.
You say that, yet I'm going to have 5 of their children to take care of in our house starting next week.
My sister, out of the kindness of her heart, is allowing you to raise her kids when you can't, and yet you're being ungrateful and complaining.
This doesn't feel like a heartfelt gesture, but rather an action of pity from someone who thinks they're better than me. Either way, this isn't something I can handle. I'm sure the kids are also going to be stressed from the sudden change of environment.
I've had enough of this. I will not tolerate any more complaints coming from you. I can leave you anytime I want. You aren't a necessary person in my life.
How could you say something like that to me? Do you understand the words you just said to me? Who says that to a person, let alone their wife?
Well, you're jobless and your family isn't that well off either, right? You would be in trouble if I were to leave you, right? I have the divorce papers signed and ready to submit at any given moment. If you don't want that to happen, then you can shut up and listen to what I tell you.
What's gotten into you? Don't you think you're being a little too harsh right now?
Harsh or not, it's true that in order to survive, you need me. You need to wake up and look at the position you're in. If you understand what I'm saying, then hurry up and start getting the house clean for our new members. I only want the best for my sister's arrival. Oh, and also make sure you learn how to raise kids properly.
This is completely messed up! How do you expect me to do this?
That's not my issue. I'm starting a new side job with my sister. We'll make a huge profit with it, so you can look forward to that.
Alyssa, I was hoping you could pick some things up from the store for me.
What? Oh, sorry. I'm too busy with work right now. Could you just go do it?
I'm sorry, but I have my hands full right now. I don't mind if it's just from the gas station around the corner, so could you please go?
The gas station? No way. Those places are really expensive. We have 5 children that we need to raise, so you at least have to think about budgets and all that.
I get that, but still...
If you understand, then you can go to the grocery store no matter how busy you are. I don't mind if dinner is a bit late, although I can't say the same about my brother. Either way, do your best, okay?
I would like to go too, but I have some cleaning and laundry left to do. Or if you could just hang the laundry out to dry after I finish, that would...
Sorry, I don't think you get what I'm saying here. Let me explain to you so that you understand what's going on here. I'm not relaxing here. I'm working in my room. The house chores are your job, right? You should be doing your job on your own.
If that's the case, then could you at least look after your kids? Could I ask you to pick up your kids from school?
Sorry, but I haven't done my makeup or finished my work. So could you pick them up on your way from getting groceries as well?
Their preschool is on the opposite side of the grocery store. There is one near the preschool, but...
Oh, no, don't go there. That place is expensive. Make sure you go to the cheaper place that we always shop at.
That's exactly what I was thinking of, so if you could just...
As a housewife, you should be able to properly manage time and money. That is part of your job as a caretaker. Well, good luck. If you need any help, just let me know. But don't waste my time with things you could easily take care of.
Right, okay. Thanks.
Could you knock it off with the complaints? You finally get to raise kids. This is what you've always wanted to do. Your life goal is being fulfilled. You could at least be grateful for this opportunity.
It's great to look after kids. But you or Alyssa haven't helped out at all. You guys pushed all the house chores and childcare onto me. I can't bear all the responsibilities. Recently, your sister has been ignoring anything I say.
So, she and I are doing important work. How else do you think we're able to have meals on our table? Do you think that just magically happens?
Well, I'm aware of how we have our meals, considering I'm the one who takes the time out of my busy day to make our meals.
Stop with your excuses! We're busy! It doesn't matter if it's a weekday or weekend. We're always working. You're just a wife. All you need to do is shut up and do as you're told.
How dare you have such an old-fashioned mindset in this day and age without any shame?
Either way, all you need to do is shut up and take care of the house and kids. We're living with my sister and her 5 kids. Your task is to take care of all of us. A childless woman like you has nothing better to do, right? If you have any complaints, then we could easily get a divorce.
But we're already divorced? That's why I'm complaining, duh.
Huh? What are you talking about?
I submitted the divorce papers a while ago. So you and I are no longer a thing.
Wait, what? Are you serious right now? Hang on. You're serious. The papers are gone!
Everything going on was way too much to handle. I couldn't stay there any longer.
You may have gotten one over me with this divorce thing, but you're still going to be the one to suffer since you're no longer my wife. You're a jobless housewife with barely any experience in the working world. You can't even afford to pay rent. How are you going to survive? Did you even think that through?
No worries, I can take care of myself. Besides, anything is better than dealing with all of that.
Is that so? Then what are you going to do about the kids? Are you going to leave these kids behind and leave on your own? That's so selfish of you to do that. They like you, and yet you abandoned them.
It's all fine. Tate is going to look after them. So there's no need to try and guilt me into regretting my actions.
What? Did you contact him after I told you not to do that? Why would you do that?
Of course I did! I have to double check with your sister's husband. After all, he is their father. However, from what I learned, your sister stole money from him and is on the run. She took their kids and ran so that she could use them to her advantage to prevent him from calling the police.
That idiot went too far.
You guys really are the worst. Using innocent children as hostages and using our house to protect her. I can't believe that you had me involved with that as well.
Don't believe anything Tate is saying. He's a lunatic who's framing my sister as a criminal.
He didn't seem all that insane when I was talking to him. If anything, your sister seems like the crazy one here. As well as you, Trent, you're just as insane as her.
Causing us unnecessary trouble. I need to tell my sister what's going on immediately.
What are you trying to pull here? Why'd you contact Tate? We told you not to talk to him, didn't we?
Well, I was in a troublesome situation, so I had no other choice. Plus, the kids all seemed terrified of their mother and kept saying how they wanted to see their father for the past 2 weeks.
This is such a pain. How could you be so useless?
You're on the run after stealing money from Tate, right? I won't say anything negative about you, but I do recommend that you hurry up and turn yourself in.
Turn me in? That's pretty dramatic. Besides, what's wrong with a wife spending her husband's money?
I see that you're trying to turn this on me. Anyways, he's apparently aware of your infidelity as well. You can run and hide all you want, but eventually he will pay for someone to tail you.
Shut up. Who do you think you are? You brainless good for nothing. Well, whatever. You can go tell Tate that this happened because he's extremely weak-willed.
Oh, you should tell him yourself. He's currently waiting downstairs at the apartment garage. You can't run now.
Huh? Why is he here? Why are you taking his side? You barely even know the man.
Rather than being on his side, I'm just extremely annoyed over your siblings. Plus, I feel bad for the kids. I need some type of justice to be served or I just won't feel better. He just happened to be a factor in the process of dealing with this situation.
You've got to be kidding. Do you know what you've done? This is bad. It's all over for me.
You reap what you sow, I think is how the saying goes.
Shut up! You're not making this any better.
I wasn't trying to. How much longer do you intend to run? Your sister got caught, so you should hurry up and turn yourself in. You're only making things worse for yourself.
Why should I? I did nothing wrong. That job I was doing was something that my sister showed me. I didn't know that an illegal service was involved with it. I'm a victim.
Is that so? So then, what about when you were telling me how you're going to be profiting greatly from this job?
Well, that's because Alyssa was telling me how much we'll benefit from the job. I heard that it may have been a little sketchy, but I didn't think it was criminal level.
You weren't aware, even though you were working.
Exactly! I was tricked!
So then why don't you just turn yourself in and explain that? The more you run, the more your argument loses value. Like I said, your running away is only making things worse for yourself.
There's no way anybody would believe what I would say.
Either way, the police will investigate and easily find out that you were aware of what was going on. There's no point in telling me all of these excuses.
I had no other choice. I got fired from my last job.
Wait, really? When did that happen?
About 2 months ago.
Why didn't you tell me?
There's no way I could tell you about how I got fired due to the company downsizing. I tried to look for a job immediately, but it didn't go well. That's when my sister was telling me about how she knows a job that has a bit of a risk, but we could get good money from it. She was having some trouble with Tate, and so we both needed money.
Something like downsizing should have been discussed with me. Well, you always were a prideful person. The reason you wanted to have a kid with me was because you wanted the status of having a proper family, right?
Everyone else around me had a family and was benefiting from it. It's because of you that I was unlucky enough to get fired during the downsizing. They told me that since I don't have a kid, they couldn't prioritize my spot.
Are you seriously placing the blame on me? Do you ever take responsibility for your actions?
Yeah, I'm blaming you for this. If you could have just gotten pregnant, then we wouldn't have been in this position.
Have you ever considered that maybe if you had gained the trust and built a better relationship with your peers, then maybe you could have kept your job? Your former coworkers were all excellent employees, so you making the excuse that you got fired due to being childless is pathetic. You're a pathetic excuse for a man. You need to hurry up and face the reality of that. If I'm being honest here, you were the most troublesome to take care of rather than those 5 kids. A few days later, Trent was spotted walking along the road where he was questioned and eventually arrested by the police. The organization that he and his sister were working for was apparently selling knockoffs at a higher rate than they were worth. Turns out the man Alyssa was seeing was the leader of said organization. Also, it turns out that Alyssa and her boyfriend had planned to eventually force Trent out of their schemes. This means that Alyssa was using her brother's love for her gain. I'm sure the betrayal that Trent felt after he found out was immeasurable. Alyssa and everyone involved were found guilty of theft crimes and were sent to prison, leading to Alyssa's kids having moved in with Tate. With the help of his parent, Tate is taking care of his 5 children. And on weekdays, I look after them, which is great for me as I've always loved children. It helps that they're so well-mannered children. I'm living a much better life now.